Hello, everyone. So I am really excited to share how I have started my podcast and the easiest way I have found to do it. This is actually a free way of being able to create a podcast, and I absolutely love and enjoy it. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. For those of you who don't know, my name is Lindsay Listro, and I am the host of the Everlasting Essences podcast. We are 80 episodes in. I'm doing a 90-day run where I post a podcast every single day. So it's a little bit about, it's a lifestyle business podcast. I'm a network marketer, so I talk about business tips in there and network marketing tips. I talk about astrology in there. It's a very encompassing podcast. It's more of like a lifestyle podcast of my life, really. And so I'm going to show you guys, I'm actually going to record a podcast for you guys while we're on here, but I wanted to show you how to get started and get going with your own very own podcast. So what I'm pulling up right now is anchor.fm. So let me put a little ticker. So go to anchor.fm. And what's really, really great about this website, let's see if it'll tick across the bottom. There you go. Anchor.fm. Just so you guys can see, it's anchor.fm. This is what it's going to look like. You can download an app on the Apple Store and also on Google Play. You can record on your phone. It's everything you can create right in there. It's 100% free hosting and distribution. You have analytics in there, and I'll show you guys a little bit about mine. It's very user-friendly. So what you just need to do is you need to come here and hit sign up. You create your account with your name, email, password, say you're not a robot, and sign up. And then what will end up happening is this is mine. I just wanted to show you guys my background of this. It's a very humble podcast. I'm very proud of it though. So what I have uploaded is a square infograph. This is Everlasting Essences podcast. It's just me. This is actually one of my favorite photos of myself. It was pre-pandemic. I'm actually in Galaxy's Edge at Walt Disney World at Hollywood Studios, with the little one of the flying things from Star Wars, one of the spaceships from Star Wars. And I'm just living my best life. And so what you get to do is you get to title your podcast. I highly suggest doing something that's very eye-catching. I really enjoy this photo of myself. Probably in the future it will change. A little bit about your podcast. And right here, I'm just going to click on it so you guys can see. These are the places where my podcast is distributed on: Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Radio Public, Spotify, and this is the RSS feed. So I'm on 6 different platforms, plus you can actually utilize the RSS feed, and that's like old school, back in the day internet stuff. I did manually upload my podcast to Apple Podcasts. You can do that through Connect. So iTunes Connect. Oops, not device. Erica, I'm recording something, sweetie. I'm sorry. I'll be with you in just one moment. iTunes Connect, login. Here we go. Sorry. Hashtag mom life. Right here. So when you log in, use your email. Now, all of you guys know my email, which is fine. It's okay. We will survive. But Podcast Connect right here. And so what you will end up doing, just in case, for some reason, I've always had issues with Apple more than anything else. Seriously, I always have the most issues of getting a podcast to connect on this, but I want you guys to see. I guess I'm having difficulties connecting. Oh my goodness. Follow the prompts. Trust me when I say this, you guys, just follow the prompts there we go. Follow the prompts through for your I'm obviously not connecting very well. I always have issues with Apple stuff. But that's how you can connect it through iTunes Connect. I must have the wrong password saved or something. I'm not going to sit here trying to figure it out. But what you will end up doing is you'll end up actually submitting your RSS feed. And that's where you can get this right here. I literally just left clicked and it's copied. And this is what it's going to look like. That's your RSS feed, and you will post it for iTunes, and it will connect itself. It's a bunch of garble that I don't really fully understand, but it definitely, trust me, just keep following the prompts all the way through, and it will it will connect. It takes a couple of days. Apple Podcasts is actually the last platform that once I upload my podcast, it's the last platform to like receive the information to. Spotify is usually about like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then iTunes can take up to, or Apple or whatever they're calling themselves now, can take up to 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes a little bit more. It just depends on what's going on. So once you have the title of your podcast, the information about it, your little square, your cover arts, definitely have a cover art for your podcast, you guys. It's very, very important. You get so I've got some statistics in here, where people are listening in from: Spotify, Apple, Overcast, other platforms. I have a very large female audience, not specified, male and non-binary, and I got people who are my age listening to me. 71% listening to me. And so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and record a podcast. So one thing I like to do is just go ahead and make sure that so we're going to record episode 80 right now, you guys. Live with you guys, we're going to record episode 80. So I'm going to hit new episode, and I'm going to go to record. So I can get real fancy with Anchor, but for me, I do this daily. I post a podcast daily, so I actually don't utilize transitions. You can definitely add songs. I have a huge library of things that I have recorded, so everything that I've recorded over time is sitting right here. And we're going to go ahead and record. And I just want you guys to see what I do. Usually in the evenings, I'm actually for December, I'm going to really try to push recording podcasts earlier in the day. Like right now, it's actually 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So we're going to be recording this podcast earlier in the day. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about, this particular broadcast. I'm putting it on Twitch and I'm putting it on YouTube. So once YouTube has it rendered and processed, I will definitely share that. And then I think Twitch will have it on there for a while too. So we're going to go ahead and hit recording. Fun fact, not only will it record on you guys, but it will record on them because I'm utilizing Google Chrome for everything, okay? Welcome to episode 80 of the Everlasting Essences podcast. My name is Lindsay Listro, and I am the host of this podcast. And today I'm going to talk to you about what I am doing as I am recording this, which is really exciting. So a few of you guys have reached out to me and asked me, hey, can I have a tutorial on how to make a podcast? How do you do this? You're recording every single day. It seems very overwhelming to record a podcast every single day. What are you doing? All these different types of questions have been popping in my inbox or through video chat or voice memos or whatever you guys are doing it's been enough that I'm like, you know what? Instead of individually contacting everybody to just explain this to you, I'm just going to go ahead and do an actual workshop live and show you guys exactly what I am doing. So, fun fact for you guys, I am actually doing the workshop right now as I'm recording this podcast. So if you go into the description, if you down below in the show notes, anytime that you want to go ahead and learn yourself how to easily create a podcast, go ahead and do that. I utilize a service called Anchor.fm. And I hope I explained it really well in the workshop, but it's super simple. It's really not complicated. And I just wanted to show that I have a cover art. Hey, big boy, it's okay. Sorry, my dog is whining next to me for whatever reason. I'm not giving him enough attention. That's what it is. So cover art, title of your podcast, a little brief description about your podcast. And now what I am doing is I'm showing everybody how to record a podcast, going into the library and hitting record. Fun fact, if you utilize Anchor.fm, it is a free platform to use. You don't have to pay any monthly subscriptions or anything. There are other ways to create a podcast. I know Lisbon is one of the ones I've looked into in the past, I've utilized in the past, but it does cost money. And so for me, it's not something that I am utilizing at the moment. I needed to simplify everything and streamline everything and make it as simple as possible. So right now, what I do instead is I use Anchor.fm. It's really cool because when I do lives, I can actually pull the recording. So I use StreamYard. Hey, big boy, I'm recording a podcast, big boy. You gotta wait a second, okay? Yeah, I'm doing a live. I'm doing a workshop, and I'm recording stuff. So you're gonna have to wait just a couple of minutes, okay, big boy? So sorry. Hashtag mom doggy life. It's been fun. My child has even interrupted my workshop. It's like, we're just going to plow through, everybody. Real life. Yay, coronavirus. Everybody's home. So what's really cool is I use StreamYard. So StreamYard, I actually pay for. And I can download the recordings of video or audio for 15 days after I record. I also have the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, so I do render and edit video and sound on there. And I can just upload it directly onto Anchor. Like, I can cut it down and just directly upload it to Anchor. I've done that a few times with a few of my podcasts where I download my Facebook Lives, I cut it up to exactly what I want, and I will do the intro for my podcast, slap that in there, do an outro, and call it a day. This is a really great platform too if you are a network marketer and you want to do some trainings for your team, like train your team before they come on. This is a really great platform for you to be able to put trainings on and be like, hey, so if somebody asks you a question, you can be like, oh, listen to episode such and such on my podcast. For me, I really enjoy utilizing it as a place to share my life and share who I am. So I have a lot of astrology stuff in here and woo stuff in here. I have a little bit of training stuff in here, mindset stuff, manifestation stuff. For me, it's a very encompassing all around of me in my podcast form. So I'm really excited to see everybody's podcasts, whoever decides to create podcasts. I'm so excited to see what you guys create. I'm extremely honored to do this workshop and share it out with everybody. So if you are listening on the podcast, please go watch the recording. You'll hear the podcast again as I'm recording, but it just gives you a little bit behind the scenes of exactly what I do to create this podcast. So before I let you go, I just want to let everybody know that wherever you are listening on, if you got some value from this podcast, go ahead and screenshot this and share this into your Instagram stories. Tag me at Everlasting Essences and tell me what your biggest takeaway is. I really enjoy sharing them into my stories. Another thing is, don't forget to subscribe and follow on whatever platform you are listening on. And also, don't forget, we're doing a cash giveaway over on Apple Podcasts. Once we hit 25 5-star reviews, I will be giving away some cold, hard cash to one lucky winner. Don't forget to leave a love note. That way you can be entered into the drawing. Love and appreciate each and every one of you. And I will actually be back later on today with another podcast because I missed yesterday's episode. So we're going to have a twofer today. Have a great day. So as that's rendering, I just wanted to say, like, I always make sure that I hit those 3 different things in my podcast because I want to share my podcast out with as many people as possible. The algorithm is very important with podcasts, and I decided a long time ago I would love to appreciate those who really do support, like, to get the reviews on Apple Podcasts, especially 5-star reviews. It means a lot. So I wanted to have an incentive for anybody who actually does write a review to be incentivized and just say thank you. Like, for me, having 25 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts is worth more than I can imagine. And so I just wanted to have that be a wonderful incentive to add on. So now that it has been processed on Anchor, all I did was I dragged it and put it into my podcast because I'm not going to be adding any more clips or anything. and then I hit save episode, and now here we are, episode 80. So I've played around with trying to figure out how I want to label my podcast episodes. For me, I'm a daily podcast person. I obviously missed yesterday's by mistake. I actually fell asleep before. I totally knocked out last night real early and didn't record, so I'm going to do a 2 for today. But I'm a daily podcast person. My podcasts are anywhere. I've had a couple of minutes up to 20 or 30 minutes. It really just depends on what the content is. I just try to bring a little bit of value every single day. You don't have to do a daily podcast. You can do a weekly podcast. You can do, I mean, it's endless of the possibilities of things that you can possibly do with your podcast. For me, numbering them is key because I have so much content. If I wanted to share this out and really have like a specific, hey, if you want to know how to make your podcast, go to episode 80. When you're looking at Spotify or even Apple Podcasts or whatever platform, it's really hard to figure out where the numbers are. So I always do 80, and I'm always going to have a 0 in front of it. So 080 is episode 80. How to start your own podcast. And so one thing I have been doing, once again, streamlining things, I may actually change this up. This right here, the donation thing has expired. So I'm going to grab this instead. These are my links to get in contact with me. And I post it on every single podcast. For the 90-day run, I'm doing this as a season 1, episode 80. I may stop doing that after, because I have 9 more days of the 90-day run, I believe. Something like that. I don't think I'm going to stop, though. I've decided I really want to go like a full year of posting every single day, and see what happens. Like I've really enjoyed this, and I get it done pretty quick. I hope you guys are able to follow along and actually see what I'm doing. But once I have my show notes in the description, I just go ahead and post it. So it's 5 minutes and 25 seconds, episode 80. I can go right here and look at all of my episodes that I have, how many plays it has done, and how many, I'll be honest, I don't promote this as much as I really should. I don't talk about it as much as I really should. So for me, I think it is absolutely astronomical that we have over 800 listens. And 14 unique listeners in the past 7 days, and the average audience based on the episodes is like 6 people listen all the way through, which I'm completely and utterly honored. Another thing you can do, I'm not personally going to do this, but you can definitely activate sponsorships where you can have ads that are placed in your podcast, and the number of times that it is heard is you'll get some money out of it. But I have no desire for monetizing my podcast personally. Like I said, your podcast can be whatever you want it to be. It is yours to play with. I hope you got some value out of this. I hope I answered all your questions. I know I kind of steamrolled through a bunch of things, but it is really simple to create. Give it a couple of days after you post your first podcast. Anchor automatically posts onto other platforms. Apple Podcasts takes the longest to get it connected. Let me say that again. Apple Podcasts is the platform it takes the longest to get connected. It can take a couple of weeks. You can also do that iConnect hack to be able to go ahead and bypass and try to connect it yourself. Like I said, my password wasn't working, so I couldn't really show you, but just it's iTunes Connect. Go to Podcast Connect and use your RSS feed that, once again, you can get from your Anchor main page. Let me do this one more time. There we go. Your public site right here. That's where you get it. You copy your RSS feed. All you need to do is click on it and it's copied. It is literally copied, and then you just copy and paste it into your Connect. Okay? It's really simple. I know it sounds, if you have any questions, please drop them down below in the chat box or in the comment section, wherever you want to comment, or you can message me at Everlasting Essences on Instagram. And that way I can answer your questions. I hope this was very valuable for you guys. I really appreciated being able to do this. I'm really excited for as many people to start their own podcasts because I really enjoy the platform itself. It's super nice to just, I don't know, have a place to vocalize whatever is on my mind, for me on a daily basis. I just really, really enjoy it. It's just something that's near and dear to my heart, and everybody does so many different things on their own. And I just, yeah, it's an honor to do this, and I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.